60 Minutes with Angela starts right now.
I said it clearly to people of Ekiti State. If you had said we had brought a wrong choice, I apologize for being part of the process of bringing that wrong choice.
Yeah.
I'm a man of my words and my actions. And when I'm wrong, prove to me that I'm wrong, I immediately come out to tell you I'm sorry and let us move ahead. But I've told them the process that brought him in will be the same process that will get him out. If we had brought him in, for real, give me the chance, I'll take him out.
Well, hello and welcome. This is 60 Minutes with me, Angela Ajetomobi. Thank you for joining me on the program today. Now, in 2018, the people of Ekiti State, that's a state in Nigeria's southwest geopolitical zone, will go to the polls to either elect a new governor or return the incumbent governor, Ayodele Fayose. Ekiti State is made up of 16 local government areas, and my host today says that the All Progressives Congress will get back Ekiti State into its kitty in that election. Don't forget that the current governor, Ayodele Fayose, is of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, and he swept away the former governor, Dr. Kayode Fayemi, in the 2014 governorship elections. And that's where my host today comes in. He's aspiring to unseat Ayodele Fayose as governor of the state. He's a former speaker of the Ekiti State House of Assembly, a former deputy chairman of the PDP in Ekiti State. He also contested under the PDP for the governorship seat. That was in 2014, going up against the current governor, Ayodele Fayose, and now a high-ranking member of the All Progressives Congress, APC. Incidentally, the APC is the party to which Nigeria's President, Muhammadu Buhari, belongs. So, join me after the break as I count down 60 minutes with FEMI BAMISILE, former Speaker of the House of Assembly in Ekiti State, and now aspiring to be Governor of Ekiti State. Welcome back. Welcome, Mr. Bamisile. Thank you very much for coming on the program.
Thank you ever so much.
I've been following you. One of the statements I read that you said was that now Ekiti people have a choice.
That's right.
Didn't they have a choice in 2014 between Fayose and Fayemi?
In every election that comes up in any state, the people of the state, the electorates, without a shadow of doubt, do have a choice. But in a situation like this, we have tested the water and the oil. So we see the differences that are there.
Yes.
So it is clear to every Ekiti person now what they really are looking for. And in the simple definition of democracy is government of the people, by the people, and for the people. Allow people to take their choices. It is okay for people to be wrong, and the moment they get wrong, they can correct it. And that's why it's clear that the people have a choice now to choose for better.
You know that I interviewed your friend, Dr. Temitope Aluko. I remember in that interview calling the three of you, yourself, Governor Fayose, and Dr. Aluko, as the three musketeers. A lot of people will be watching you now and think, all right, this is probably your revenge to Governor Fayose for not making you his deputy, as agreed between all three of you at the time.
For me, the word revenge wouldn't be the best of words to use. I'm just as human as anybody. yes, at that point in time, I could have differences with Ayodele Fayose, but I'm not in the place to revenge for anything. I leave all for the Almighty, the overseer of the events of man. I'm not in any revenge. I don't get mad, I get even. And that getting even means I want to move forward.
Yes, and moving forward is
to make sure that I ask that if hard work, diligence, perseverance, and persistence can earn a mandate governorship of the state,
yes,
why wouldn't I aim for the same? And that's exactly what it is, particularly when I have a focus, a drive, and a vision. And that's exactly what it is. So for me, it's not about revenge. I've left that for the past, and I'm just moving forward.
But just as an aside, why do you think he reneged on that promise to make you his running mate and deputy governor?
I have seen clearly, and I think I understand Ayodele Fayose so well. He really can deal with a man of strong character, and that's
strong personality.
Yeah. And that's the kind of person that I am. I don't mince words. I say it how it is, irrespective of whose source is God.
Yes.
And before I take decisions, I make sure clearly that I do a lot of consultation within the political sphere. So that's one thing I know Ayo would not appreciate about my person. And he would, compared to who is the deputy governor of the state now, quite high-ranking academia, but it's beyond that. I'm not going to be a stooge for anybody, not at all, not particularly in this 21st century, the world that we all live in now. So we need to just say it how it is, particularly for those that are children that are just coming up. So you won't see a character like mine. Like I had a friend of mine, a senator, asked me at a point in time, says, how on earth would you have believed that I would have made you the deputy?
I said the same thing to Dr. Aluko. What gave you both the courage or the conviction to think that he would keep to his promise?
Again, that I really wanted to redefine social sciences, the study of social sciences, that a man after the age of adolescence, at his age 18, cannot change. I felt with all that he went through in life, particularly the 8-10 years in exile, away from politics.
After his impeachment.
Yes. And how he was treated, I thought as a young man, the likelihood is, yes, you'll be asking for a second chance in life. And when that had been given to you, particularly in a state like Ekiti State, you should have braced up politically and developed yourself to a standard where you should be seen as someone who is considered to have changed. But unfortunately, I got it wrong. I've learned not to redefine social sciences, like I said before. So Ayo is a grown man. He'll be 57 now. Became governor again at 55, right about. I don't see him as changing, and that's his own person anyway.
But he prides himself on having total control of the grassroots of Ekiti politics.
That is
how
an
do
illusion.
you know?
It's an illusion for real. Don't forget something. I told you he left the state for over 5 to 6 years, and PDP still continued. After I left the state, Segun won the elections and became the governor of the state under the party PDP. I won the elections and became a member of the House of Assembly and grew up to become the Speaker of the House of Assembly. And some of us had, I wouldn't say control, that's the wrong choice of word to use for humans. But the people of Ekiti loved us. They gave the trust to us. And we were holding the office in trust. And we did all this pretty well when Segun was there. He led as a progressive, clearly. You would see that if an individual comes into Ekiti and tells you he has control of the grassroots, he must have lost his mind, or he's just thinking out of his, let me use the word there. But again, I want to say something very clearly. When Ayodele Fayose came back to the state, some of us ushered him in to the state, believing that Ekiti is one of the youngest and the smallest states in the federation. We can't be fighting ourselves the way we are to the outside world and well-meaning people of Ekiti themselves. That we need to put ourselves together as a people and move the state forward. I really didn't see anything wrong in, at that point in time, bringing him back into the system.
And supporting
him and making sure he got to where he wanted to get to. And that's exactly what we did. But unfortunately, it's an innate thing for the person himself. You can make a horse, like the old adage says, go into the stream, but you can't really force that horse to drink water.
Are you people still friends? I mean, following his refusal to make you Deputy Governor, have you continued to speak to each other? Are you in contact with each other as friends?
One thing that is so clear that I've learned in politics, I'm not a friend, as in, we're political associates.
Okay.
Now,
Okay, yes.
And it wasn't as it used to be before. I won't lie to you, in those days, we were very close.
You saw each other every day?
Every day. And before he takes decisions, he consults with people like myself.
Yes.
We do things together.
Yes.
That was when he was trying to be governor. He was a good listener and he did everything that we wanted him to do at that point in time. But the moment he got a ticket, he just changed into his natural being. To your question, do we talk? If there's an opportunity that we meet in a function, why not? I would greet him. He's the governor of the state. It's a position that I'm aiming to attain, and you don't demean that office. It's an exalted office that you look upon those who occupy such positions as people with good character and all that. So if he has done what he's doing, or he's doing what he's doing, does not mean I should, that the person, refuse to talk to him. We will talk if we get to functions. But outside of that, we're friends.
Following your declaration now that you will be contesting under the APC, would you change your mind if Governor Fayose offered you the ticket to be his running mate again?
I think I've gone beyond that now. I've looked at the person that I am. I had the opportunity of running for the governorship to 2014, but with a lot of persuasion at the national, at the presidency. We at that point in time felt, don't forget I was in PDP, we felt we needed to get government by all means possible away from the APC. And what was the problem with Dr. Fayose then to someone like me? I just saw him as being alienating himself from the grassroots, the electorate. And Ekiti politics is totally dynamic and different from other politics in the nation. So the people of Ekiti are totally different, and
they saw him as far removed from them.
From them. And they felt they put him in office. They wanted to actually be close to him at every point in time. And that was the opportunity that we moved in. And at that point in time, said we wanted government. Who best fit the position to help get that office? It was decided at the national that it was going to be Ayodele Fayose. So for some of us, we believe so much in the authority of the presidency and the party. We clearly said without a shadow of doubt, we're going to go to a primaries, and those who could be the strong forces to resolve government, because don't forget I was the deputy chairman of the party too. And I had a very strong structure within the party that I've kept since God knows about 10 years prior to that. So we considered this seat for him to go around the primaries with others. So it became history.
You've also mentioned that you were the former deputy chairman of the PDP in Ekiti State. A lot of people do not understand how you reconcile your being in that position with the fact that you also contested to be governor of the state in 2014.
It's so clear with the constitution of the country and the party too. I was occupying a position, and if at that point in time I needed to contest an election, I would leave that position.
You would step down?
Step down, about 3 months to the elections. I was going about my campaign and all that before then. And like I told you, it was agreed at the national that the flag bearer of the party would be Ayodele Fayose even before the primaries. It became so easy to talk to those of us who are party structure holders. For someone like me as a deputy chairman, I could easily be convinced that the party had taken a decision on such and such. That was why a lot of us, some of us pulled out at that point in time and allowed for him to go to primaries with those who wanted to hit the primaries floor with him.
You've also said that Governor Fayose's dominance will end soon
without
in Ekiti State. I recall that in 2014, in addition to interviewing Governor Fayemi at the time, the incumbent, I also interviewed Governor Fayose, and he was brimming with confidence. I was very worried after interviewing him because he said to me that he would defeat Fayemi, not in his ward, but he would be roundly defeated. Are you confident that you will defeat Dr. Fayemi?
By the grace of God. Let me say to you again, by the grace of God, I will defeat him in his local government.
In his local
I will not defeat him in his hometown. I will defeat him in his local government, by the grace of God.
How do you then hope to end the dominance of somebody who was so confident then in 2014 and still retains that confidence about himself when he goes around Ekiti State?
For instance, I'm in Lagos now doing this interview.
Yes.
But I live in Ekiti State, and I've lived in Ekiti for 15 years. I have the opportunity of staying in Lagos too, but I chose to stay in Ekiti because of days like this.
So you are not a diaspora candidate coming
I'm
to...
a local breed. When we brought Fayose, we were the foot soldiers. I can clearly remember a saying that myself and Dr. Aluko said, that now that the general is back, we'll go back to colonels in the war front.
Yes.
But now, when the general loses focus, it becomes very clear that he will be unseated in office. Governor Ayodele Fayose has lost focus.
How do you come to that conclusion?
I see it every day in Ekiti State. I've been around the 16 local governments. This will be my third time going around. This month, I will be on the 10th local government for the third time in the state.
Right.
And what I do is asking questions. In politics has gone beyond we have a godfather who says this is what would happen. And people are beginning to understand their rights. And one thing that the government of APC, our government, has been able to do now, it has told the Nigerian people that you have a right. The thumb is your right, and you use it on election day to determine your future. Nigeria is right for that change, and that's exactly what it is. So the people of Nigeria are now convinced that their votes would count.
Yes.
And if that be the case, you as a politician, you need to get to the grassroots, to the downtrodden, the people who vote you into office. And at getting to them would mean you need to tell them what your vision is, what your plans are for them, how you want to change for better what they're experiencing now. And if they are convinced, they would go with you.
How do you know that the people want a change for the better? How do you know that the people are not happy with Governor Fayose's style? I mean, a lot of people have made fun of him buying pomo in the market and all those things. But what if that is what the people genuinely want?
Sincerely, I've said it times without number that our style of politics in the Ekiti State is quite dynamic. It's different from what obtains in Lagos or your other Southwest state. Yes, our people are interested in leadership that is close to them. You could be a governor who goes around the street. Let me just put this as a poser for you. Do you really think a governor who comes out of a government house, who has cooks within the government house, would want to go to the market and buy a roll of pomo? I'm almost certain that the moment he buys it and gets into his vehicle, he throws it out of the window when it's gone about 5 minutes drive. So he has a way of getting into the minds of the Ekiti electorate.
Yes.
But some of us have a better way of doing this. I more or less see myself as Ayodele's mentor when he used to listen to us. Because a lot of things that we told him he would do and became very positive, even up to the build-up of the primary. But the moment he got the ticket, he lost it. He felt he had control of everything. And the Ekiti electorate, or the average Ekiti man, is not timid. He's not a fool. And don't see us as people who don't know what they're doing. But one thing with them is, they can count days just as much as they counted Dr. Kayode Fayemi's days before he left office. For instance, what is ongoing now, the issue that was ongoing for a while after the Supreme Court cases of Ayodele Fayose, I've said it times without number. As a party loyalist and as a good party member and as a sound politician, I would rather prefer that the Supreme Court had spoken. It's the fact that I was going beyond bounds, talking ill about the presidency and the president himself. But outside of that, he would meet his doomsday quite soon, up ahead. But before then, why don't we just continue to build our party, work with the minds of the electorates, engineer the entire structure of the party from the grassroots in anticipation for 2018 elections. And that was the plan of how we took government away from
Dr.
Fayemi there. I was the deputy chairman. I told everybody clearly, would adopt the British Parliament system, whereby there will be shadow government. As you have Fayemi's commissioners in office, we set up a shadow government from within the PDP that would get informations from government and begin to actually attack the government positively and constructively.
By analysis.
By analysis, that's right. So And that's what we did. So it kept us going for almost 3 years. Rather than wanting to get to court today, whiling our times away with cases in court, lawyers getting paid and all that, sincerely, I don't do my politics in that manner. And that's why I've been on this now for the past 10, 11 months, moving around the entire state. Yeah. We have locked the entire structure of the party. It's not a slam dunk already, but we're going by bit by bit.
You're making progress.
Without a doubt. And we've done extremely well. I make bold to ask that anybody who's interested in this governorship election should come out now. We're going to trash them at the primaries, without a doubt.
Join us again after the break.
Nice question.
Angela, that's a great question.
It's a good question.
It is difficult to respond to that question.
That is a serious question.
Angela, that is a very great question. Great question, Angela.
You know, Angela, that's a very difficult question.
That's a great question, Angela.
Okay, that's a great question.
Angela, that's a tough one for me.
That's a good question. Good question.
I love to ask questions. I think it's what I do best. You see, I think that the fastest way to learn anything is to ask questions. The right questions, that is. Questions that help you get to the heart of the matter.
60 Minutes with Angela. Gain answers to every question you always wanted to ask.
Welcome back. If you've just joined us, it's 60 Minutes with me, Angela Ajitomobi. On my hot seat today, former Speaker of Ekiti State House of Assembly, who's also aspiring to be governor of the state in 2018. Mr. Bamisile,
yes,
you've said that you will be contesting under the APC. You know, Dr. Fayose, who was the former governor, had only done one term. He is entitled, if he wishes, to try and contest again. Even though he is now Minister for Solid Minerals Development, do you know if he's still interested in coming back as governor?
Angela, I'm not a soothsayer. I can't go into his mind. I don't know what he's thinking, but I talk to him every time that I need to talk to him. I call him frequently, appreciate him. I've said clearly to him what he's been able to do as in regards development in Ekiti State during his 4-year tenure. But I want to quickly recap and make you understand. Ekiti State is a very interesting society and a state since 1999. Adeniyi Adebayo too had an opportunity of being governor of the state. 1999 to 2003. He could as well say he wanted a second shot. But as a gentleman as he is, he's the most resounding leader of the party as we are in the state for today. When Engineer Shegun came in there, he had his own shot, didn't even complete his own term. He did 3.5 years. I remember, recollect vividly, when I took Ayodele Fayose to Engineer Shegun's residence, Ifaki. We were trying to get, or Ayo had just seemingly coming to the party back.
That's PDP at the time,
And Shegun said to him, my brother, I'm older than you are, but you a step senior of me within the hierarchy of governorship. You did it before I did it. This Shegun is speaking. I would prefer that we go to the south, which is somewhat or underprivileged now to have had this lot of governorship, to go and pick a candidate. And if you go there and see whoever you think would fit as governor, I would support you. I remember clearly what Ayodele Fayose said in the face of Engineer Shegun, that no, I want to be governor. And that is the authoritarian act of Ayo. What I'm trying to say is, Shegun at that point in time did his 3.5 years, didn't bother to contest the elections again. Gentleman too. It's not that they didn't, the constitution does not allow them. He would have loved to. Fayose to come in.
Do you get a vibe that he may be still interested in coming?
Angela, the way I am now, with all I've done within the state, I'm not thinking of who is coming or not. All I'm asking for is, as many as they want to come, let us make it a process of building the party. I'm ready for the game. I'm well prepared, born prepared for this, and I've worked for it all my life. So if he wants to contest the elections, we would meet on the field. And not doing that would mean that he was our boss as the governor of the state, but there's nothing stopping us from going head on into an election.
Did you ever try to go back to the PDP at any time? No,
contrary to the information that came up at the point in time that I had a meeting, a stage meeting at an hotel in Ekiti, Pathfinder's Hotel. I'd come to Lagos to build that severally and rebuff it severally on the issue of me having a meeting with Governor Ayodele Fayose. A meeting came up, but the meeting was not with Ayodele Fayose. It was with 4 of my department ruler of my local government. And the moment he came into the meeting, I think I just had the grace of God to have gotten out and walked away almost immediately. And that was the end of it. And it made it very clear to everybody that there is no returning back to PDP for any reason. Now that the PDP has even lost the national, and the chance that I took then, don't forget, I did not join the APC when it was rosy. I came at the time that I was the deputy chairman of PDP and the government at the ruling end in Abuja, where it became very difficult for a well-thinking Nigerian that, is this man okay? Is this normal?
Yes.
But I took my fate in my hands and I took my chances, and it has paid off today. And this is why it becomes crystal clear to me as a person that there's a reason for my calling, particularly in this governorship election, and that's why I'm going forward.
What then is your vision for Ekiti State? It's one thing to say you want to be governor. It's another thing to have a plan. You've spoken about how you don't think Governor Fayose is implementing any plan going forward. What then is your plan?
As I'm seated here with you, I squeezed some time out to come to Lagos. And I'm here in Lagos doing some things because I just finished a tour within the local government in Ekiti. It's about a week and a half back. And I do this seemingly every month. And the reason I'm here, out of no time, is to meet with our supporters from Lagos and friends all around to get myself prepared for the next tour. Why I'm saying this is, I have a team that works with me, particularly in Ekiti State. In the academia, we have our blueprints all put together, economic blueprint, political blueprints and all that. And that's why, for me, when I look at governors speak, particularly on the issue of the IGR and subventions coming from Abuja, I wonder, before you decide to be a governor of a state, you should have a pre-planned arrangement or plan of how to govern the state. For instance, if your state does not get any subvention from Abuja or something goes wrong, and we don't get any income from Abuja, how do you sustain
what does that mean for the state?
So can't you think of other ways of generating revenue from your state? A very good example was when Tinubu was governor of Lagos State during the first term, towards the tail end of his first tenure, with PDP Obasanjo in office in Abuja. If you don't forget that there was a scuffle between the two states, between Lagos State and the federal, and the subvention stopped for up and on about maybe a year. Necessity is the mother of invention. Lagos State got into the drive of generating IGR, moved from about 3 million a month to about 27 billion a month. And now I know Lagos State makes close to about 35 billion monthly. You would understand that that is the highest paid in the federation for today, even including the oil states. So if Lagos can't do that, don't let us forget here they say Lagos is a metropolis, is a capital,
going to come the Ekiti.
We can make, my sister, trust me, we're not going to impound or impose nasty taxes on our people. There are things that government will do with banks to generate income for the state. There are things that the bank would use their money for, and payback time will be about 10, 15 years, and will be used to generate income for the state. I'm saying this very carefully because there are things that I've ruled out that I really don't want to come out with as much as you want to push me to say so many things.
Because you don't want.
I can tell you clearly. No, I don't. I can tell you clearly that in our administration, in a month, comfortably would make nothing less than 2.5 billion as IGR for the state, without killing the people of the state. And it will be taxes, which will be readily and willingly being paid by the people themselves. A market woman in Lagos now, I know, goes to the tax office to register herself for tax payment. But the moment a taxpayer sees what you're using their monies for, the willingness will be there to pay the taxes. And that's exactly what I've been able to latch on in Lagos State, which means the government tries to do a process building with the people who pay taxes. It's not something you just go in and want to drive out of people, but it's a process. It could take 3 to 6 months. But once this process has been done, the likelihood is you begin to reap the benefits of good taxation within the state. And those are the plans that we have.
You also met with youth groups. At the time, you were informing them of your decision to go forward with your ambition to be governor. Has the Ministry of Youth Development and Sports in the state, is it still proscribed? Is it back running?
It is running. I don't know who the commissioner is now. For real, when I shut my eye off on something, I just close it totally. I know some of their commissioners by name, or probably we were friends at a point in time.
Yes.
The way they run their offices has become a sham that I don't really get interested in, except when we have information about what is going on within the ministries. About the youths of Ekiti, a lot of them are not glued clear to the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Development, because the individual that is even there probably doesn't even know his onions. It's not about being a sporty individual or whatever. It's about the conviction of the mind.
I like the way you say that, because they all think that once they wear a baseball cap,
then
you're commissioner for youth.
It's not at all. You need to know and have what it takes. What you don't have, you can't give. And this is where we lose it most times. The people that would form your government are people who understand the environment that you're going to govern. Does not mean that those that will be coming from out of town should not be given the opportunity. Because at the point in time too, I came from out of town. But I learned the ropes, I learned the lesson. Even before I became a member of the House of Assembly, I resided within the community, the state, for 7 years. I came in year 2000. I became a member in 2007, which means I went through the political tutelage. And this is exactly what should happen in politics. That's what brings out the best out of individuals contesting elections. Because the people need to know you. You must know where the shoe pinches and their way of life. And these are the things that we lose within our own area in Ekiti. And it's been ascribed to the fact that we're a young state, but I mean, when are we going to be old? When are we going to grow up?
Are you going to be young forever?
Forever.
You also criticize the attempt by Governor Fayose in building a bridge.
Several things that he tried to build: the bridge, the airport.
What's wrong with having an airport? It can only be a sign of development if you have an airport.
It is a sign of development at a better time when we have a good economy. 1, 2. Ondo State is 35 minutes drive. Akure, particularly, from Ekiti. Akure has an airport. So I would rather, if I was governor, the 17 billion he was planning. And don't forget that he said FEMI spent 3.5 or 3.6 billion to put the government house. That they had no economic value for Ekiti State. And you're going to spend 17 billion. When we are in crisis, it's not just a national crisis, it's a global crisis, economic crisis, a meltdown. And when the economy is this bad, where are we going to sort 17 billion from? What is that economic drive in Ekiti that foreign investors would come in and help build when you do a 17 billion airport? Is it going to be an international airport? How many flyers, individual flyers, are moving from Ekiti? How many of our children come home like that from the UK and the US and fly straight to Ekiti on a yearly basis? All these things we need to look at before we throw taxpayers' money into this and the funds that are not even available. So the overhead bridge too that he talked about at 5.6, 5.7 billion has come to clear now that the issue of the monies that were released by the immediate past administration, the Jonathan administration, the 5.7 billion that he said it wasn't released, that the monies were released. So nobody knew where the money was at that point in time, up until the day he said he was trying to do a bridge. And you ask yourself, Ekiti is not congested. This is where I live. My local government is a 35-minute drive from Ado. And if I want to see someone in my local government, a leader of the party, I would drive at 35 minutes on the dot to get home. There's no traffic anywhere. There's what I consider the educational tourist attraction in Ekiti. There's this individual called Faji. We have the Faji Park. Governors have come, have done the park, have done this. But there should be an educational tourist attraction away from that park to know who Faji really is, what he died for. That would rather bring historians to Ekiti State or students of history from other universities, West Coast, Africa, even national, rather than just telling me if what's a tourist attraction? Are you telling me someone who come from Lagos to look at a flyover in Ekiti State, where they got a lot over the waters
in Lagos?
In Lagos. So I remember when we were in government, our governor then, Governor Sheguni, did the first elevator. Actually, it was first done at within the government house. In the government house, at Fayose did the first elevator in the government house. You have an elevator from first floor to the second floor. And that's it. The building is just a two-story building. But for the purposes of students coming, but how many students are allowed to get into the government house?
Yes.
To see an elevator? So you see, we use these things to just fool the psyche of voters. It is wrong. We're looking for development. It's not about fooling anybody. And now to say you want to bring a flyover. The second elevator was done in front of the government house. An insurance company, I forgot the name, an insurance company in front of the government house. It's a 4-story building. And I think that's the highest building in Ekiti State. Isn't that a shame?
The highest building.
Yes.
4 floors.
A 4-floor building.
Join us again after the break.
Nice question.
Angela, that's a great question.
It's a good question.
It is difficult to respond to that question.
That is a serious question.
Angela, that is a very great question. Great question, Angela.
You know, Angela, that's a very difficult question.
That's a great question, Angela.
Okay, that's a great question.
Angela, that's a tough one for me.
That's a good question. Good question.
I love to ask questions. I think it's what I do best. You see, I think that the fastest way to learn anything is to ask questions. The right questions, that is. Questions that help you get to the heart of the matter.
60 Minutes with Angela. Again, answers to every question you always wanted to ask.
Welcome back. My concluding moments now with FEMI BAMISILE, former Speaker of Ekiti State House of Assembly, and he's aspiring to be governor of the state under the APC in 2018. What if Akure has an airport? Does that mean that Ekiti State shouldn't want to stand on its own 2 feet?
Not to say that. It's just unfortunate where we are now. In
The timing is what you are-
We really don't have that money. If you were to be 12 years back, why not? Governors have come,
Yes.
and a lot of governors started the process. I did not start the process of the airport. Other people had started that process, but obviously they saw the economic situation of the state vis-a-vis the nation, and
Yeah.
it became clear for them that it wasn't going to work.
At
But I
this
see my
time-
governor has looked at this as an opportunity to use as a conduit pie. That's what I would say.
That's what you think.
That's what I know.
You also said Ekiti State has lost its education glory.
No doubt.
How?
If you go into the reports of the WAEC examinations, the
Yes.
NECO, even our universities, I want to say this, and I hope it doesn't surprise you. I just finished my master's at the University of Ekiti State University, and I had a whole year. I'm doing my thesis now to see what the level of education is within the university itself. And truly, it wasn't what it used to be in the past when we were in the University of Ife and all that. It
Yes,
wasn't what it used
not
to be.
the same thing.
Not the same thing again. So things are happening within the university environment that would bother the minds of parents. My first child is at the university in London. My second boy is in the university in Babcock. It would bother the mind that are these the things that we're paying for now? Are this the quality of education that our children are coming out with in universities? It really doesn't matter.
Yeah.
The jobs are not there, like we say. But even if the jobs are there, are this the quality of children that go into jobs to represent conglomerates in the nation? That's the problem.
So you have plans to revive education?
I have a very strong academia team that has put up a lot of blueprints. I say it all the time. I know where my level of expertise is. I've assessed myself as a person wanting to contest an election. You must have an overview of who you really are, what you want to do, what is your strength, and the ability to allow for people to be themselves and grow within the same government. So we're going to have a government that allows for a lot of brains to grow within. So it is what I know that I will work with.
Yes.
The issue of the education, we have left to the professionals who understand how it should be run.
Yes.
Those that took us from school, from kindergarten to where we are now. And they're still there and they give us the best of education.
Yes.
And those are the ones that have put the blueprint together. We have ideas on what to do, but the blueprint has been done carefully well by a host of people. It's another opportunity. I don't plan to have a 7, 6, 8 point agenda. Does not mean those who have it don't have it right.
Yes.
But I'm thinking we have a 4-year tenure if you get to office as governor.
Yes.
I will give a good example of our late president, Yadra. He had a 7-point agenda when he came in. He barely could finish one before he died. One now asks, what becomes of this other 6-point agenda?
Yes.
When Jonathan got there, his agendas were different.
Yes. And
This
that's
is
another
a wastage in government
That's
funds.
another sore point. If you become governor,
Yes.
surely there will be some things you will allow to continue that you will inherit from Governor
You see,
Fayose.
the issue with me, it doesn't matter what political parties we operate from. the way democracy plays, probably because of my own 15, 16 years of experience living outside of the country, in places like the US and the UK, has made me understand that government is a continuum. And even in simple definition in government, study of government, it is a continuum. It does not matter what party you operate for. I would inherit all assets and liability when I become the governor of the state, which means uncompleted projects of Ayodele Fayose, I must complete. All the dilapidated buildings or structures in Ekiti state that have been a project of one governor at a point in time, we would complete. So we don't waste the little resources that we have. All we need to is to develop people, human capital development. And that's my point agenda. Outside of that, it's all encompassing. The works ministry will come into it, health will come into it, education will come into it without a shadow of doubt. Because you have commissioners that holds those positions. And what do they get paid for? To think.
How will you drive this if the All Progressives Congress, APC, does not take control of the House of Assembly? Don't forget, right now, the House of Assembly has a majority of the governor's party.
This is where it becomes very, very imperative for our party to understand too. We need people with cognitive experience now. I was one time a member of the House of Assembly. I was a one-time Speaker of the House of Assembly. I know what obtains within the legislative arm of government. When there are ruffles, when it starts, how we would stop it, and when it brews, the potence that it brings to government, we understand all this. So as a governor who has gone through that legislative understanding, you would have the best of time. I can't be governor of a state from APC, and you have probably 26 members of PDP work with me for right about 6 months before they leave. That can be a problem. We're all Ekiti subjects, don't forget. I have the legislative understanding too. The same language we speak here. We're from the first constituency.
So, following my conversation with Dr. Aluko, can you confirm all the things he alleged in his expose, that Governor Fayose winning that election is the result of what he called technical rigging?
You see, a lot of things have happened after the elections, and this might be the first station I will talk about anything on the elections. It'll probably be the last station to do it. Because I've said it clearly that for me, I've always left what had happened in the past for the past. It's a process of building the nation. It's a process of building democracy. And as we are now, it's getting better, and it would continue to get. These are trying times. Even the democracies of the 200 and something years in the United States is the same.
They still have their issues.
So for me, most of the things that Dr. Aluko had said, to an extent, and when I say to an extent, I want you to understand this. I left PDP June 19th, 2014. Most of the things that he alleged happened after I'd left the party. So I wouldn't have direct information
about things. Okay, you left the party when it became obvious that there was no use for you anymore
in the party, and I realized that Ayo had gone away from, or derailed away from what the initial plans were. And I took my chances then and left, even before the governor's elections. So most of the things that he had said, there is no way for me to confirm most of these things. But knowing the relationship between Dr. Aluko and Ayodele Fayose, like he has described him to you, they all virtually grew up in Ibadan. He was like a brother of his growing up in Ibadan. And they have their seemingly relationship that goes beyond politics. That's why I said I'm a political associate. I just became a friend in politics. So I won't be able to more or less confirm most of those stories. But the things that happened before the elections, before the primaries, I was part of. And when I say I was part of, I said it clearly to people of Ekiti State. If you had said we had brought a wrong choice, I apologize for being part of the process of bringing that wrong choice. I'm a man of my words and my actions. And when I'm wrong, prove to me that I'm wrong, I immediately come out to tell you I'm sorry and let us move ahead. But I've told them the process that brought him in will be the same process that will get him out. If we had brought him in, for real, give me the chance, I'll take him out.
Are you still friends with Dr. Aluko? Is he supporting your desire to be governor in 2018?
Looking at where he is now, unfortunately.
Is he in any party? Is he still in the PDP, or has he moved to the APC?
We talk on a frequent basis.
Yes.
And for doctor, I say this most of the time. There are a lot of professionals, doctors, professors in politics.
Yes.
He wanted an appointment. He wasn't elected anyway. So if he had gotten an appointment, he would have tried better and proved himself. But I always clown with him to say that he has left the academia for shark-infested waters, which is politics. So he has had a lot of piranha bite on him. Dr. Aluko, nice guy. I don't know where party he belongs to now.
Will you convince him to come to the APC?
Without a doubt.
And support you, you know.
He would not have a choice than to support me. I would say that because we've come a long way. We both understand Ekiti politics.
Yes.
Truly. We really both understand because we've lived all our lives there. Most of our adolescents have been lived in Ekiti. Yes. So we both understand the politics of Ekiti State, and who better helps him get out of the murky waters he has found himself now
than the APC. And of course, you know that the Southwest Soul in the APC, the former Action Congress of Nigeria, do you have the support of the key members of that ACN within the APC? People like Senator Ojudu, you know, people who are high-ranking members of the party, including Asiwaju Bola Tinubu.
Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu is father of all, and I've met severally with him at the residence, and he has made it very clear that he would allow for a free process. And he has said it that he had had his fingers burned severally himself on choices of those that he felt would be good.
Yes.
And ended up being something else.
Yes.
And as a father figure, a national figure, he has promised to actually lead the primaries to be free and fair. And that's all that we're asking for.
Right.
That's the only process that would maintain democracy in Nigeria. And we need to learn. I was reading the papers about a month ago. Deputy Senate President, Senator Ekiti Madu,
yes,
said they have realized after coming out of a meeting, PDP, that they had realized how they failed the last election, which is true imposition. Don't forget that the president then wanted a second shot.
Yes.
And they had 2 or 3 people who wanted to contest the same seat with him.
But couldn't even find the forms to buy.
Thank you. So it is clear, in any place or society where a select few decides to impose on the majority, there are 2 processes to elections: the primaries and the general election. The minds of the general electorate are being locked on some particular people during the processes of the primaries.
Yes.
And if you make the primaries free and fair and they lose, the likelihood is they would willingly work with whoever won the election.
Whoever emerges.
But if you prepare schemages for such elections, what happened in PDP would end up happening. And I know APC has leadership who are very thorough, who do a lot of investigative politicking, and they've seen why parties have failed. They've realized why they have failed to in some states. They would want to correct such anomalies. Because these are the questions we meet at every point in time we go about. That the leadership of the party. I said, yes, when we were at the region, when it was a regional party, it was okay for some group of people to say, yes,
this is the man that will go.
What will happen. But at the national now, even looking at the person of Fayose with what he does to the president is even more interested in wanting to win Ekiti State.
Yes.
You understand? So the interest is larger than what is limited to the Southwest. So for me, I'm looking at a broader picture, a form of thinking that everybody will be left to actually go and play their turn with the electorate and let the people of Ekiti for once. And why won't you think of this? In the entire Southwest, there are only 2 troubled states, Ondo State and Ekiti State. And these are where impositions are done.
Yes.
So the moment you leave the candidates or the aspirants to the fate of the delegates to determine who they want, you will see a change in political fortune in Ekiti and Ondo State.
And your last word to people of Ekiti State?
Like I say all the time, Ekiti is our home, the only place that we all got. We can't go anywhere. For someone like me, I've lived all around the world and I'm back home. To all well-meaning Ekiti people all around the world, it's about time we have the best for our own land. Let us change the place for better, to make it a very thriving place for us all to live.
Well, we'll be following your progress as we move ahead, and I would have you back when the picture is clearer about where the elections, when they will hold and how they will hold, especially before the primaries. So
Yes.
thank you very much. And thank you for watching. I'm Angela Jetimobi.